Well, more now on Cuba and President Obama's new policy at normalizing relations. You know, it leaves a lot of questions. With the 70 estimated convicted felons from American justice, some for hijacking, murder, and terrorism, will they now be vulnerable for extradition back here to face American justice? And with no promise of free elections, no political prisoners released, is this change justified? Here now is Captain Bob Wells, a retired member of the U.S. Navy and former National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney. You know, Captain, the only prisoners being released in Cuba are by the Obama administration from Gitmo. Do you think that this change in the new policy will change the communist regime of the Castros?
This policy change needs to be in the national interest of the United States. If it's in the national interest of the United States, it's good policy. If it's not, it's bad. We used to look at policy development very carefully in the Bush administration. In this administration, we need to do equally as well. We need to have a real architect, a real good diplomat of very high stature to basically develop the architecture to take all these baskets of interest and put them in there and to actually work through these issues with the Castro government to essentially achieve democracy and freedom, our long-term goal for the people of Cuba.
Well, they don't seem to have democracy and freedom now. Take a look at this. I mean, the number of political prisoners has increased. Back in 2010, there were like about 2,000. By last year, there were more than 6,000. And this year, there are 8,000 political prisoners, and they have arbitrary detentions. If you go to the next full screen, we have 2,000 a few years ago. That's mushroomed. And they say they're 50, according to Human Rights Watch, 57,000 in work camps and prisons. Do you think this was the right move considering that, or do you think that this will potentially change the behavior and bring democracy and freedom to those who are and have been besieged by the Castros?
I think the United States needed a new set of tools in its toolbox. I really think a renewed effort with a new focus with our policy toward all the Americas. I compliment the Obama administration with regard to involving the Pope and also Canada and thinking through a new future for the Americas. But the Cuban people really deserve better. And I think having a comprehensive framework that really focuses on the issues, as you just mentioned there, the human rights concerns, the working camps. We looked at those in 2006 when Raul Castro came into power. We also looked at the human rights abuses inside Cuba. There needs to be a very clear and deeds mean more than words, frankly, discussion with this particular regime.
And do you think finally, do you think we'll get to those deeds? I mean, is this a start, or do you think we'll get there?
I think it's just a start. In fact, Cuba is another example of revolutions in the 20th century that occurred. If you recall the Russian Revolution, it took many decades for that to resolve with a willing partner, and we're still where we are right now with regard to Russia. The Chinese Revolution, 1949, same long road. Nixon's rapprochement with the Chinese regime, willing partner. We still have quite a few issues to work through. Iran, same thing after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. Mixed results there, certainly with arbitration for properties. Finally, the Cuban Revolution, 1959. This needs a serious approach, needs a serious diplomat also to develop the architecture. The president has come forth with a new policy. That policy needs to be with an informed strategy, and deeds matter more than words.
All right, Captain, that have to be the last word. We have breaking news. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.